Hey guys, today I'm gonna compare two famous calligraphers' regular script and try to find the difference. The first calligrapher is Ou Yangxun from early Tang Dynasty, and the second calligrapher is Yan Zhenqing from mid-Tang Dynasty. Some people say that a person's handwriting somehow reflects his or her personality. I don't really know about this. And also, I don't really know about the personality of these two masters in calligraphy, but I do feel like there's some resemblance between their handwriting and their appearance. As you can see, Ou Yangxun looks pretty elegant and slim, I would say. Yan Zhenqing looks strong. And now let's check out their handwriting to see if they share these two properties. So first, let's try to have a more general overview before we go into the details of the difference between this Yan Zhenqing's Yan style and this Ou Yangxun Ou style. So first, if you look at the characters, you might see that Yan's characters are more chubby and the Ou's characters are more elegant. I think there are two reasons for this. First, it's because if you look at each character of Yan, it's more or less a square, right? The width and the height are basically the same. Like this character, it's pretty square. But for this one, for Ou style, it's always a rectangle, which means its height is bigger than the width. Well, if you look at this Kun, this character, it's higher, and Gong higher, and Cheng a little bit higher because this stroke start very far. And Nan again higher. So it looks slimmer compared to the square chubby one. On the other hand, the comparison between strokes is very big. It's much bigger in Yan style compared to those in the Ou style, which means if you look at the horizontal stroke and the vertical stroke, the horizontal stroke are much thinner, where the vertical stroke are stronger, right? If you look at here, the horizontal is thinner, vertical is stronger. Whereas in Ou style, the horizontal one and the vertical one are basically similar, not too much different. Right. So there are more, I would say, variations between the thickness of the stroke in Yan style. Whereas if you look at Ou style, it's more like uniform, right? Everything is have the same thickness. Well, not exactly same, but similar thickness. A lot of times I like to describe the Yan style as the bodybuilder. Like it has very strong muscle. It gives you a sense of a sturdiness and strongness. Whereas in the Ou style, it's more like a denser, more elegant, I would say. And it's also like group dance. Like each character, they when you look at them together, they just look very uniform, follow a really well pattern. Later, we will go into more detail and I will pick several characters that appears in both script and I will write them in both Ou style and in the Yan style to give you a more detailed and better sense of the difference between them. Okay, now let's do some practice. So the first word or character that I choose is this easy one that ends in the middle. And on the right hand side, I'm going to write the Ou style, Ou Yangxun style. And as I described before, you can see the horizontal stroke and the vertical stroke, they are of very similar thickness. The same character from this Yan style here. The little difference between them is that you see the horizontal stroke is very thin and the vertical one is extremely strong. And also it's more like a square instead of here, it's more like a rectangle, right? It's always longer. Like the length is bigger than the width, but here the length and the width are almost the same. Let's do this one. Very strong. Strong. Okay, another one. Here, this means 1,000. So I'm gonna write the Yan style on the left-hand side first. This means 1,000, and as you can see, the stroke is pretty strong, and this vertical one is also pretty strong. But this horizontal one is not as strong, right? So let's do this. Strong. Not as strong. And this one is strong, right? As you can see, it's again almost like a square. And I found another one here. This one, here. So it's the same character, qian, but as you can see, the variation between the thickness of this stroke is not that big, and it's more slim. It's like softer, I would say. Now we have another zhi. So it's hard to translate what this means, so I'm gonna leave it for now and directly write it. And the dot and all this four stroke, the variation is not that much, and it's kind of soft. Okay, so there are two. We can choose either one. They're very similar. And as you can see, this dot is very strong compared to this, and then this stroke is very short. So he just almost treats it like a dot. And then this one is also very thin. And this last stroke is like really strong. So it gives you a sense of sturdiness. And let's try this version. This one, who? Well, it sounds really like WHO, that who, but this one means house, I would say. Well, it's between languages, it's really hard to have direct translation. Okay, so this stroke is a horizontal one, and then followed by a very long stroke, and then this. Well, each stroke is sturdy and strong. So first, they doesn't look really the same because here this old style is missing this part, and also again it's slimmer. Okay, I got another one, more complicated one. This means time. Again, chubby. I would say here I should have made this even stronger, right? Because you see it's pretty strong. What about this version? This version is slimmer. It's not as this more square. Okay, so as you can see, not very much variation between the strokes, and it's a little bit longer, like slimmer than this square one. This shu means book or write. Again, be careful about the contrast between the horizontal and vertical strokes. Very thin and very strong. Thin at the beginning and strong at the end. Very thin. And strong. Okay, what about the other shu? The other one, it's slimmer, not so many contrast of the thickness, and also be careful about the kou at the very end. This one is like the vertical one is like you go in, but for this one it's like go out. It's more like chubby, but this one is like more in. See the difference? This part is more like round, but this part is more like inward. It's like more tight at the bottom, but this one is more like sturdy or a little bit chubby. Yeah. Okay, another one is this yang. That means sun, S-U-N, the sun in the sky. And for this one, Yan's version, as you can see, the left-hand side is strong, and also the right lower part is also strong, like big. So let's do this. Okay, what about the old style yang here? Well, for this one, you see the right lower part is comparably small, actually. It's pretty tight there. So let's do this one. They look pretty different, right? Great, so much for the practice, and this is the full view. Of course, there must have been so many details that I didn't catch while writing these two versions, so getting a good understanding of a certain calligraphy style needs years of practice. For example, some people practice Yan style for years, and they don't even need to look at the script to write characters that look like Yan's form. As a beginner, feel free to pick any style that you like and start practice. Anyhow, do you prefer the more sturdy and muscle builder version on the left-hand side or the more elegant dancer version? Let me know in the comments.